Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verses 21 to the end. Etam bhukva svargalokam vishalam क्षीणे पुण्ये मर्त्यलोकं विशन्ति एवं त्रयी धर्ममनुप्रपन्नाः गतागतं कामकामा लभन्ते अनन्या चिन्तयन्तो मां ये जना पर्युपासते तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम् येऽप्यन्यदेवता भक्ताः यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्विताः तेऽपि मामेव कौन्तेय यजन्त्यविधिपूर्वकम् अहं हि सर्वयज्ञानां भोक्ता च प्रभुरेव च न तु मामभिजानन्ति तत्तेनातश्च्यवन्ति ते यान्ति देवव्रता देवान् पितॄन् यान्ति पितुव्रताः भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्याः यान्ति मद्याजिनोऽपि माम् पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयम् यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः यत्करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि ददासि यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम् शुभाशुभफलैरेवम् मोक्ष्यसे कर्मबन्धनैः सन्न्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मामुपैष्यसि समोऽहं सर्वभूतेषु न मे द्वेष्योऽस्ति न प्रियः ये भजन्ति तु मां भक्त्या मयि तेषु चाप्यहम् अपि चेत् सुदुराचारः भजते मामनन्यभाक् साधुरेव समन्तव्यः सम्यक् व्यवसितो हि सः क्षिप्तं भवति धर्मात्मा शश्वच्छान्तिं निगच्छति कौन्तेय प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्तः प्रणश्यति मां हि पार्थव्यपाश्रित्य पापयोनयः धियो वैश्याः तथा शूद्राः ते यान्ति परां गतिम् किं पुनर्ब्राह्मणाः पुण्याः भक्ता राजश्रयस्तथा अनित्यमसुखं लोकम् इमं प्राप्य भजस्व माम् मन्मनामवभक्तः मद्याजी मां नमस्कुरु मामैवैष्यसि युक्तैवम् आत्मानं मत्परायणः
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। from verse 29 to 34. Krishna is giving a psychological treatment. Because previously he has explained two categories of people, Sakama Bhaktas and Nishkama Bhaktas. Now, where we are going to be standing, this is what Sakama Bhaktas get, this is what Nishkama Bhaktas get. And what is Sakama Bhakti, what is Nishkama Bhakti, all that he has explained. Then one question is still pending. What about those people who are not Bhaktas? Right. He has been helping people who are moving from Sakama Bhakti to Nishkama Bhakti. That he is explaining. That is where the scripture comes and helps here. Now he is touching people who are in the border. Border of what? Abhaktas and Sakama Bhakta. So initially you are a Bhakta, meaning you are not a devotee. If you are not a devotee, what are you? Worldly person, you'd say, either in the normal sense. So you are a purely materialistic. That pure materialistic, hardcore materialistic, a point comes where he borders into Sakama. Right? And then he slips into Sakama Bhakti. He continues his Sakama Bhakti. He intensifies his Sakama Bhakti. More and more that intensified Bhakti will take him to Nishkama Bhakti. After a point. And then whatever Nishkama Bhakti gives. Right. Now from 29 to 34, he is talking about people who are in the border. Right. Which means you are not a Bhakta yet. That's all. One of the fascinating portion. Very, very motivating portion of the Gita. There are a few portions which are very depressing. Right. And there are some portions which are very motivating. This is one of the most motivating portion of the Bhagavad Gita. From verse 29 to 34. Dedicated effort leads seekers, even the unrighteous, to self-realization. So it covers entire humanity. That's why we take this Bhagavad Gita as one of the authoritative texts. Because it is covering the whole lot. Then the introduction he gives few points in the first verse, verse 29. You read this verse? You read it? No harm in reading again. Very good word.
Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshosti na priyaha ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya mahi desheshu chapyaham Samoham sarva bhuteshu न मे द्वेषोऽस्ति न प्रियः ये भजन्ति तु मां भक्त्या मयि ते तेषु चाप्यहम्
Same am I in all beings. There is none hateful or dear to me. But those who worship me with devotion, they are in me and I am also in them. I am same to all beings. My stand towards the entire humanity is equal. There is no difference. Moham sarva bhuteshu. Samaha aham sarva bhuteshu. Means I am equal to all. And he establishes that. What is the meaning of equal to all? That is the explanation in the next line. Next half. He says, Name dveshyosti na priya. There is none hateful or dear to me. It's just a explanation of the term samaha. Equal vision. Like earlier, he was explaining what is the bhavana of the bhaktas towards God. Right? How we see God. Now he is stating how God is seeing all of us. We see God in different ways. Right? We say this is my, this deva, that deva, Kula deva is there, Ishta devata is there, Dur devatas are there. All sorts of gods we see. We see many gods. Right? That's what the problem is. They say. God, which God? Isn't it? Only in our thing we ask this question. Englishman comes, he got really confused. He said, in the name of God. Our fellow immediately will ask, which God? In the name of which God? The God. The God. We see, and we relate to God in different ways. One day, I've heard people going, actually standing in front of the Sanctum Sanctorum and scolding him. Actually scolding God. Not in, genuinely. Seen people speaking to him like, having a conversation. Sometimes I wonder, are they normal or no? But it is fascinating to see those people. You see, now how he is going to see all of us? The one fellow comes and, praises him and says, you gave me life. Another fellow comes and says, you are such a chore. No one I have seen such a cheat in my life. Another person comes and says that each one will come and relate to God in different ways. Correct. This is our bhavana towards God. Now, first thing he says is, see, you people have different bhavanas towards me, but what is my attitude towards you people? Sama. Equal. Now, when we say equal, we get lost. Equal, na? Because we don't know what is equal. See, we have no understanding of what is the meaning of equal. Now, the declaration says, no, everybody is born equal. Go to the hospital. Is they all born equal? One is C-section, another one is normal delivery, another one is premature, another one is, as soon as birth, there is an instant complication. You say everybody has equal opportunity. How do you say everybody has equal opportunity? But the declaration says, that UN, United Nations, US, 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 UN, I don't know. US is yeah, starts with something everybody is born equal. Now, why do you have to declare? If it is equal, why do you have to declare? The very fact that you are declaring is the meaning is what? So far we were thinking not equal. Now, see everyone equal. It's not. Krishna here he says, see, to me everybody is equal. Now when he says equal, we get equal means what? For that he gives an explanation. Beautiful explanation he gives. He establishes that with two statements. What is the meaning of sama? First one, he says, Name dveshyas. No dvesha from me. To me, there is no dvesha. And Name priyas. No affection also. No one, there is none hateful to me, none dear to me. What is interesting here is why he says both. Isn't it? He could have said, hey, look here, I don't hate anyone. Everybody is equal to me. Or, I love everyone, so everybody is equal to me. One statement should have been sufficient enough, isn't it? Now, why he is making it in the negative sense, also he is presenting it in the positive sense. In the qualities of Bhakta, we are going to see later. I don't know when. One day we will see. The rate in which we are going, one day we will see that. Those who are in a hurry, go there and see. Chapter 12, here. Adveshta sarva bhutana. No dvesha. Problem solved. He's not saying priya to all bhutas. No. Priyam to all bhutas is not what he says. All that he says is no dvesha to all beings. Problem solved there. But here he is not stating like that. Here he puts it together. See, when they write poetry, remember, these are all given in poetic form for us. So in poetry, there are rules. Not like how we write poetry these days. Anybody can become poetry. Modern poetry. Like this actually happened. Modern painting. Modern art. It actually happened. In a place, in an art exhibition, one fellow lost his spectacles. It fell on the ground. He didn't realize. Thought, he's taking it and putting it in the pocket. Putting it in the pocket, it fell down. And it was lying there. Fortunately, it didn't break. A group of people thought the organizer has kept it there as a form of art. And people have started taking pictures of that. And the fellow came in search of that and he picked it up and he left. It's there. Record. Poetry you can't write like that. You see, in poetry, when they start and complete it, there are, a number of aksharas are defined. You see, you can't exceed. Within that, you have to cover it. sometimes the message he wants to communicate will get completed. But still the aksharas are there. What he wants to communicate, he has communicated in that particular verse, slogan. He has already stated, but there is still two more, aksharas has to be added. They will add some sounds like that. And there are certain places where they have started explaining something, but the number of aksharas got over. They can't add a word there. So they have to add another line to it. You would have seen that here in the Gita itself, places. Suddenly you will see one verse having 3 lines. Right? Usually it is only 2 lines. Suddenly you will see 3 lines. Somewhere it is, I don't remember where. Second chapter. Somewhere it is there, I don't remember. See, here it's not like that. It's not that, for want of, something he has to add, so he's adding. It's not like that. Remember, he's actually giving a message here. That's why when you read these verses, we need this assistance of commentators. These Bhashyakaras are very important for us. As on our own, we will not be able to decipher. We need to, surrender to those masters and ask them, please explain, sir, what does it mean? The 4 sutras of, Brahma Sutra. The 4 books. I saw in one fellow's house. There are 4 books, volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, volume 4. Brahma Sutra, commentary. Brahma Sutra has 555, sutras are there, aphorisms. Cryptic, condensed, cryptic statement. Commentary. So, I've never seen, I've heard about Brahma Sutra, but I've never read. So, I picked it up and started glancing. I couldn't read it because I was sitting in this house. I was glancing that. I glanced the first volume, second volume, third volume, fourth volume. In the 4th volume, he says, I have commented the first 4 sutras. Rest of it, you people read. 4 volumes. Each volume is of this thickness. It is. God. Therefore, let us investigate Brahman. Statement. Translation. When you translate, there's all statements. Ata Brahma Jignasa. Therefore, let us. This fellow, investigate like he has not started. What is the meaning of therefore? First volume commentary is only therefore. Atava, he starts. Means, I said, forget, Brahma Sutras. I thought, you should read Brahma Sutra. Such a great text. Easiest thing to do is what? Go and sit under a fellow and ask him. That's what I did. That's why even now that's the best way of learning for me. Rather than reading, easiest thing for me is to go to people and ask them, what is that? And you should know when to ask them. That's not technical. I won't teach that technique to you. And you will apply that on me. The backdoor entry. And they have given it already. They have given that very easy, these people. When the back door is also wide open. Whether they open the main door or not, back door they open. Always. Enter through back door. Easy that is. Tadvidhi pranipadena pariprashnena sevena. Upadekshanti de jnanam jnaninas tattva darshana. He has already stated that. Secret law. You just have to follow. That's all. Krishna is not adding this for want of some shabda to be added. See, not necessary. Here he gives that. Ame dveshyasi. Na priya. See, suppose what we have to do is do this reflection. This is our reflection now. Okay, imagine if Krishna would have said, no hatred to me. Very easy that is. See, I don't hate you people. You know, because you people can relate to me in two ways. What are the ways you can relate to me? You can relate to me only in two ways. One is what? There is a group of people who worship me. There is a group of people who don't worship me. There are people who worship God, and there are people who do not worship God. There are people who pursue the self, and there are people who do not pursue the self. It's as simple as that. And what I am going to do, whether you pursue or don't pursue, I don't hate you. Everybody is equal. Now, when he says everyone is equal, I don't hate you. There is one problem you can get into. That is, you need not be hating someone, but you can be indifferent to the people around. See that? With a person who is living, the neighbor. You know, there's a neighbor here, staying from your house, from the room. You can see the neighbor there. You know who they are? Do they know who you are? They don't know your name. You don't know their name. And there are people who are staying right opposite me. I don't know them. I know their cat. Because every day morning, Vishwarupa Darshan for me is the cat. I open the door, the fellow standing. Every day. And imagine if we were to believe, if a cat crosses, you cannot. I cannot come out of my house. Permanent, quarantine. Only one door. I have to jump from the, balcony. I can jump from the balcony, but how will you go back? Be careful. Who is there? We don't know them. And they don't know me. I don't know their name. They don't know my name. Even if we were to be standing in a signal next to each other, we will not recognize who is that fellow. Is my neighbor? Hello. No. Why? In the world, if you are not hating someone, there is always a possibility of indifference. So I am not indifferent towards you people. How do you explain that? How do you prove that? Ame priya. No. Liking also. Which means what? Neither liking nor disliking. Does it mean he is indifferent? Neither liking nor disliking will establish the fact that he is becoming more indifferent, is it? No. Why? Continues. Those who worship with me with devotion, they are in me, I am also in them. This is the next one. So first he says, I am equal. So there is no hatred towards people who worship or do not worship. Nor I am indifferent towards them. Why? Because they are all equal to me. It's equal. Now, what is equal? Samar. What is equal? I maintain equality. What is the meaning of equality? The way I treat you is equal. But those who worship me, they get something. See how confusing he speaks. Prima facie, when you read it, it's not confusing. It is so simple. Sometimes I wonder whether I confuse it or, actually it is there. But it looks like that through my eyes. There is same in all beings. I am same. All beings. And then he explains that by saying there is no one hateful to me or dear to me. What is this hateful and dear? You can be hateful, you can be having someone closer to you. I'm not having any one of them. Does it mean God is indifferent? He says, no, I am not indifferent. What is a proof of my not being indifferent? I'm equal to all. What is the proof of that? I see everyone equally. You may see me in a different ways. Some people will become indifferent towards me. Some of them like me. Some of them don't like me. This possibility is there. Correct? We can relate to God in these three ways. One, we can become indifferent towards God, or we can become hating God, or we can relate to Him with so much of love and affection, liking Him. So indifference, dislike, like. This possibility is there from our end. From my end, he says, I don't have any such possibilities. What is the proof? The grace that I shower is equal. Is the proof. My grace is equal to everyone. Is the proof. In Saundarya Lahari, he gives this beautiful verse. How is she? Yes. It's like the moonlight is equally falling on a gutter, also on the Ganges. Isn't it? See, the moonlight is not going to say, hey, what's the point of me falling in the tank? My reflection coming. See, I am representation of beauty. See, moon, when you say, moon is the representative of beauty. That's why we say, my beloved's face is like a moon. Such a beautiful face. That's what the meaning of it is supposed to be. How can my reflection be coming in a gutter, dirty water? No. I should be falling only under crystal clear water. The grace is equal. But then, the grace may be equal, right? But how you are going to be tapping is where you would be able to have an access to it. See, you have to tap it to get an access. If you refuse to tap it, then you don't have an access. Isn't it? That's what he says. But those who worship me with devotion, they are in me. Only they understand this. Everyone is not going to be understanding I am equal. Who will understand that I am equal? Not everyone. I am equal. But everyone is not going to understand. Then who is going to understand it? Is only those who get that access to my grace, and then they have to. Only then they will understand. Otherwise, they will not understand. Like, see, you're building a house. Actually, when you're building, what are you doing? You're building a wall, right? When you're building a wall, you are creating a room, isn't it? Your agenda is what? Create a space for yourself, isn't it? Now that space cannot be a closed one. Open. It has to be an enclosed space. Correct? That's what house means. House means what? Enclosed space. But how are you creating it? Are you creating that space? Or that space is already there? Can you create that enclosed space? Can you create a wall without a space allowing you to create a wall? The space has to allow you. If the space is not allowing you to create a wall, so the wall is also standing there in the space only. But then you cannot have an access, you cannot live in an open. You needed a enclosed. That enclosed space is where you can, but you can get that access only when you have this wall. The wall is built, but space is not created. Space is already there, isn't it? That's why you see to a naked eye, when you see a land, or you go to any house, terrace you go, the house will look very small. Have you seen? Terrace you go, but you come inside, it looks big space, isn't it? Empty land you see, it looks small. But chinna land it's just a small place. But actually, when you put up a building, it looks, you can register space only when? After creating a wall. Till then, you cannot understand. See, now come back to the verse. Space is God, His grace. His grace and Himself are same. Okay, there's no difference. It is like moon and moon rays, sun and sunlight. They are not two different things. Sun and sunlight are one and the same. So God and grace are one and the same. So don't think, God is different. Grace is different. Same thing that is. So when He says, everyone is equal to me, He is showering His light to everyone. Same light. But then, every one of us cannot have an access to it. That's where the problem is. That's why we can't understand. That is why when you analyze, the only intellectual conclusion you can come to is God says, I am indifferent. You guys can do whatever you want. I don't care. It's like a stone then. You garland the stone, doesn't make a difference. You dirty the stone, doesn't make a difference to the stone, to the statue. That's what we have happens all to this, Many times I wonder, I don't know why we are putting up, all these great masters, statues. Throughout the year, you see Mahatma Gandhi statue we keep. Throughout the year, who is sitting on top? The pigeons and crows only sitting. And all over the droppings. October 1st, he will get one bath. Hose pipe. Take it. Clear. Next day they put garland. That day afternoon itself, what happens? As they are garlanding, crow comes. Because he says, hey, you guys come once a year, I come here every day. This is my place. As far as that statue is concerned, what difference does it make? Does it mean God is also like that? I don't care, man, whether you guys are worshipping me, I worship me. Everybody is equal. That's indifference. He says, no, I am not indifferent. Remember, I've been showering that grace. My blessings are there to everyone equally. But then, who is going to have an access to it? It is only those who are engaging their effort in a proper way. So, when you put in your effort in a proper manner, as I have stated earlier, what happens? You get this. The yielding will come. Right. Otherwise, this verse will look very. God is equal to. God says everybody is equal to me. Krishna himself will say everybody is equal to me. Then we'll say, Appa, I thought at least if he has some preferences, there is something in it for me. When he says, whether you praise or you censure doesn't make a difference to me. Does it mean he is indifferent? Can amount to that. Says no. God is not partial, he is impartial. The impartiality of him is getting proved by his second one. Then comes what is the meaning of each one. See, they are in me, but those who worship me with devotion. What is worshipping me? Worshipping me, immediately you got to put within brackets. Seeking. Worshipping doesn't mean simply going there to the temple and doing one archana. We will do. I go to one like Akshat I have done. That's not what is there. But those who seek me with devotion, they are in me and I am also in them. That is next idea. Those who, but today the problem is what? We are not able to seek Brahman. Why we are not able to seek? We are seeking something else. See, as simple as that. So why we are not seeking him is because we are seeking something. Something else had taken over our priority. This is not important. That is more important. So let me cover that first. Let me attend to that facet of it first. And then I'll come to God. This is the way we deal with God. He says, no, don't. If those who are able to use their effort, what is known as Purushartha. Right. I want to explain it because just now we are seeing that in the other class. Other classes. Purushartha. Now, engagement of that Purushartha properly, you start seeking me with devotion. With devotion means what? With the mind which is purified. With the purified mind, seek me. That's what it means. Now, today we are not seeking. Why? First of all, we don't understand we are supposed to seek. So we think Vedanta wants you to seek Brahman. Now, many people believe that. Now, Vedanta is not asking you to seek or you don't do whatever you want. Krishna is not asking you, please. What you are seeking is this. The problem is you don't know that. See, like the scriptures, give a beautiful example. Say, in the dream, the dreamer has lost his identity as the waker. What is the true identity of the dreamer? It is a waker. Relatively speaking, okay? Vyavaharika level, if you analyze. What is the true identity of the dreamer? The waker. Waker is the identity of this. He has lost his wakerhood and he has become a dreamer now. Now, what is his first job? What are you supposed to do to regain? Wake up. All that you have to do is wake up. And if you go and tell this to a dreamer, wake up, he would ask a question, I am already awake. Wrong. The question comes here is, who has to wake up? The dreamer has to wake up or the waker has to wake up? Is that problem? The waker went to sleep, lost his identity as a waker, and he has become a dreamer now. Okay. Now we are speaking to the dreamer. Hey, your original identity is waker, not this. Okay. Who has to wake up? Waker, na wake up. Oh.
Telling the wrong person.
He will say, go and speak to him. You see that? He say, if he wakes up, my problem is solved. You see? Get into this metaphysical conflict. See that? Irreconcilable situation that is. And every day it is getting reconciled. In your experience, this is getting reconciled on a daily basis. The same is the situation here. They are in me. A waker and dreamer. Those dreamers who understand this and wish for the waker to wake up, when they have no clue of the existence of the waker, correct? What is the proof you are going to give to the dreamer the existence of a waker? Worship me with devotion. Devotion. See that? You have to put in that effort. Now, when you are putting in that effort, obvious question will come is, I can put in effort only when I understand. When I don't understand, what happens? Those people, when they work, what is their understanding they get? They understand that the dreamer is part of the waker. It's not only the dreamer is part of the waker, the dreamer only the waker. The whole waker is not dreamer. Remember this. From the waker point of view, dreamer is a apart. But for the dreamer point of view, what is it? Sometimes back one fellow came, said, I have a clarification. I said, no. Vedanta says the world is illusion. I said, Vedanta never said world is illusion. Huh? Vedanta says you are illusion. Since you are illusion, the world that you are projecting becomes illusion. Oh, fellow. Did pronounced me and gave Gurudakshina also better. A very good student. Remember that boy, brilliant boy. Fellow actually didn't pronounce. Boy in the sense he is actually a man, not a boy, I'd say. He is much elder to me. He actually did. Only then I got to know what was he. He didn't tell me what was it. He was doing research in, Shaiva Siddhanta and all that. He was doing research in that. So he said, I've been asking this question to people, for so many years. Now I understand, correct? It is. You are, from your point of view, from the dreamer point of view, the whole dreamer is what? Is Waker. A dreamer has no jurisdiction to say, I am part of it. Waker can say, you are just a part of me, man. One fiber. One fiber of me is this. This is what the fight is. Vishishtadvaita and Advaita. Fight to them. Advaita says, Vishishtadvaita says that who's correct, who's wrong. Tremendous fight. It's very simple. Dreamer, entire dream is what? Is completely Waker's mind. And when we say Waker's mind, Waker is a Waker's mind. There's no difference. The whole thing is this. But when you view the whole thing from the angle of the Waker, right? Will the Waker ever say, he is part of me? I have one bank account. There's one account I have in this bank. Another account is there in that bank. Another account is there in this bank. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you. I have another account also. In the dream Reserve Bank, I have an account. Will you say that? The Waker will never acknowledge that the dreamer is part of him. He'll say, what is dreamer? But don't talk about it, man. It's a waste of time. Let's discuss something else. He will not recognize, he will not give any percentage of reality to the dreamer and the dream world. Same way, this person with the devotion, he pursues, he seeks. What is he seeking? What is understanding he gets? He gets into the understanding, they are in me. What the dreamer is in the Waker. The whole dreamer and dream world is Waker. They get it. And I am also in them. Don't worry, man, your understanding is correct. I'm there. I confirm it. Amazing verse. I don't know whether I'm explaining to you or ஆரம்பிச்சு எனக்கே படுறேன். Yes.
So last bit, can you explain again? When you say the dreamer is in the waker, you say I am in them means I am in the waker. Or I
He
am
is
in the
acknowledging
waker.
it. I am in them is when the dreamer comes and tells the waker, imagine a conversation, okay? It's just an imaginary conversation. And the dreamer comes to a conclusion that yes, I am there, part of this. Only this is full. The whole thing is nothing but waker's mind only. And the waker says what? Correct. The whole thing is me only. Confirmed. Unless its confirmation comes from the waker, can a dreamer be certain about his conclusions? You need the stamping, no? Correct. You need that acknowledgement. If the acknowledgement is not given, tax pay pannadha acknowledgement varala. If acknowledgement has not come to you, if the receipt is not there with you, that means what? You have not paid the tax. Full stop. You can't say, no, I have transferred. In my bank, it has been debited. Income tax department is not going to worry about that. BDA will not bother about it. He will ask, where is the receipt? If the receipt is not there, it's not confirmed. Same way, they are in me is from dreamer to waker. I am also in them is a waker confirming to the dreamer's conclusion. After his pursuit, after his investigations, all that is included in this, which is what we call as Purushartha, the effort. He understands what? Go back to the first slide. Same. The same waker is part of the waker. One part has become the dreamer, another part has become the dream sun, another part has become the dream moon, another part has become the dream wife, another part has become the dream earth, another part can go on and on and on. All this is what? Is nothing but waker. So when he sees the dream sun, he says that what? Waker. When he sees the moon, he says what? Waker. When he sees the stars, waker. When he sees this is the prayatna, this is the effort. That's what he meant by, but those who worship me with devotion, why with devotion you have to do it? There's no absolute pure logic. Because logically, if you go by, then who should wake up? Only waker has to wake up, which means who has to? That is why in Ramayana, they say Rama went all the way to get Sita. What was Sita doing? Simply sitting. Nothing. All prayatna was done by who? Rama is what? Rama symbolizes what? Self. If self has to work to get to the jiva, or jiva has to strive to unite with the self, should jivatma do the sadhana and get to Paramatma, or Paramatma should do all the effort and take jivatma there? We say what? Paramatma looks better, sir. Why not? But then the problem will be what? You have to be held as a captive by the 10-headed Ravana, and suffer. All around you, who will be there? Rakshasas and Rakshasas will be there around you. He'll say, all around me, there should be all the damsels should be there, Gandharva should be there, Deva should be there. And then you have to work. If you say, fine, I don't mind me having all Rakshasas around me, anytime they can come and eat me alive. That's what every one of them they tell. When Ravana comes, they tell him, when you kill her, that part is for me, okay? That liver is for me. You should not take. Another person says, kidney for me. Kidney, Baba. Another person says, that blood would be super. I've heard, people from that state, blood would be very tasty. I'm not concocting, it is there in Ramayana. This they are telling whom? To Sita. This is how we are going to prepare you and eat. He says, I don't mind. If you are like that, then Rama will do all the work. Now you say what? You. If you are having fear, if you are having that insecurity, if you are having that frustration, then it will not work. Yes. Yes. With devotion, when you pursue, what is the understanding you come to? You come to an understanding that I am in him. They are in me, means they are merged with me. They understand that Jivatma and Paramatma are one and the same. I am Atma Brahma. They understand that. They understand that Prajnanam Brahma. Once they understand that, I confirm their understanding to be correct. Yes, pass. Covers the whole thing. Same in all beings. There is none hateful or dear to me. But those who worship me with devotion, they are in me and I am also in them.
Devotion here is Shraddha.
Starts with it. The starting point is Shraddha. Devotion here is it is actually devotion here. In this context, devotion, you take it as surrender in unknown. Because you don't know. It's not making sense. There is no logic here. See, if you take the example of dreamer and waker, it will not make any sense. Why should I worship God, man? Why should I put in that effort? Actual effort has to be put in by the waker to wake up. Because who has lost identity? Waker is the one who has lost his identity. So therefore, who has to put in effort? Waker has to put in that effort. Now, apply the same rule here. If Brahman has lost his identity and become that individual, if Paramatma has lost his identity and become a Jivatma, then who has to put in that effort? Paramatma or Jivatma? Paramatma only, no? Then why is he talking about, Sakama Bhakti, Nishkama Bhakti, you worship me, worship, even if you don't worship, it doesn't matter to me. Hey, that's your job, man. Unnecessarily, you lose your identity and then you come here. That is our condition today. That effort is Purushartha. The capacity to put in that effort by the Jiva is Purushartha. Refer Vedanta previous class. Because if I start explaining that again now, another 2 classes will go. I got to repeat the whole thing. We have just done that. So we can just refer. It's easy. Yes.
So any effort to realize the has to be done by the waker.
Yes.
To fourth state.
Fourth state, correct.
So it has to go like that. So now, how does the waker know that we are the waker?
You have no clue. We assume.
We assume.
We assume that we are wakers now. That's all.
Yeah.
That's why, strictly speaking, in the scriptures, they say in the scriptures, they don't say there are 3 states. They say there are only 2 states. Dream and deep sleep. The so-called waking is also what? Better dream. Very difficult for us to digest it. That is, yeah, we claim it. Why we say this is because of only one excuse that we have. The only excuse we have here is we are able to register a possibility and work on it. We are able to register a possibility, there is something beyond this, and we are working on that. That's all. In the dream, the problem is what? Go back to the basic definition of dream. What is the definition of dream? Oh, that is one aspect of it, one angle. But essentially, what is a dream world? What is a dream state? When consciousness functions through your subtle body, you assume a position of a dreamer experiencing dream world. This is the sequence. As consciousness passes through the causal body, you assume the position of a deep sleeper experiencing deep sleep. Consciousness functioning through the gross body, you assume a position of a waker experiencing the waking world. Right? Now, does your gross body functions or not? That is a question. Does your gross body works or it is not working? Right now. Right now, your gross body is working, right? Isn't it? So you go into the dream, you wake up, go to deep sleep, you wake up, all this is happening, right? Suppose if you take a position, sir, this is also dream. Because always there's a possibility of dream within dream. Okay, there's a chance, no? I can dream within dream. When that dreamer wakes up, will he become a waker or a dreamer? Dreamer only. Isn't it? The dreamer 2 wakes up to become a dreamer 1. Now, is it dream 1? And what I had experienced yesterday night to be dream 2. Then we ask this question. That means there is a possibility you have to recognize and register this to be dream now. Which means you are intellectually posing a possibility of a waker. And then after that waker, there is realization. There's something beyond waker also. Right. Suppose at any point of time, if you are going to be speaking only, this is also a dream. This is also a dream. This is also a dream. Dream. You are theoretically discounting a possibility of waking experience itself. See that? Argumentatively, I can say, sir, this is also a dream only. No. What is the guarantee this is not dream? I'll say, come here. That's the only answer we can. See, argumentatively correct, possibility is there, but that is not the essence of the study here. The essence of the study is you as an individual, you are a combination of what? Waker plus dreamer plus deep sleeper. When we say Jiva, we are referring to what now? We are referring to both, all three. Waker, dreamer, deep sleeper put together is called Jiva. Isn't it? Now, by saying that dream, you are removing the possibility. Therefore, Vedanta says, look here, doesn't make sense because it is not going to lead you anywhere. It's only infinite regression. At anything I can go on saying, maybe that's also dream. Maybe this is also dream, this is also dream, this is also dream, dream. Huh? You are discounting one state itself, which is not going to be giving you any result. Reasoning, okay, what are you going to arrive by that? For every thinking, there has to be a prayojana. No? There has to be a conclusion. Okay, by stating this, what are you going to arrive at? Where are you going to arrive at? Nowhere. Therefore, they say, anywhere you were to be having a possibility of a discussion on Brahman, take that state to be waking. Problem solved. Don't worry, whether it is dream or a deep, cannot be deep sleep. Whether it is waking, a dream or a Vishanavana, is simple. If you want, this is also so confusing. Right? You're able to see the clock there, wall clock. Read that. You're able to see waking state. Because you can never bring a wall clock in your dream. Right? You can do japa, wall clock, wall clock, wall clock, wall clock, wall clock, wall clock, go to sleep. You will never see a wall clock in your dream. This is a rule of dream. Psychology has proved it already. You don't have to worry about it. I have done the study. Correct? None of you know. Information to you. But it's a you can never see a wall clock in your dream. Try to recollect. Any dream, you try to recollect. Have you ever seen a wall clock in the dream? I was getting ready to go to office. I saw the clock. It was 9:30. You will never see a wall clock in your dream. That's a rule of waking and dream difference. Psychology says wall clock, Vedanta says Vedanta. If you can read the scriptures, that's a waking state. He is gone beyond. Jnani is not in the state at all. You see him. What are you seeing? You are seeing only his gross body. You assume as being Jnani. Your assumption that is. You treat someone to be a great Jnani. On what basis? You treat someone to be God man, God woman. Now there is a new person has emerged, new God has come in Tamil Nadu. Very popular. Goddess, not God, goddess. Has come now. Is a new goddess. Interact with our assumption. I believe someone to be a realized soul. That's all. We take Ramatirtha, Ramana, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, all those people to be realized. That is our assumption. That's all. We just only have to ask whether it is just a fantasy idea or is there any indications and corroboratory evidences are there. That is what the difference is. Remember, hypothesizing something, theorizing something, and proving something. That's what it is. There are three different things. One is a law, one becomes theory, another one becomes just proclamation. You just declare, that's it. You just state it. Yeah, why? On what basis? No basis at all. Can you prove it? No way you can prove it. Because it's like asking this question, coming back to the same example. The dreamer's friend is asking the dreamer, after you waking up, you have to come and prove to me that you have woken up. And the dreamer's friend is asking the dreamer, in the dream, who has woken up? Who are you asking? Question it up. You see that? The very question is wrong. But then, can you not ask this question? Impossible. Because we do see few people standing out. They doesn't seem to be fitting in with whatever we understand as dream, whatever we understand as waking. They stand out. How? And if no one has a possibility to have a transaction with the waker, right, we will never know a thing called realization. That is what the difference is. The dreamers can never engage in a discussion about the waker. But the wakers were able to engage in a conversation and debate and discuss a possibility of beyond waker. That very possibility gives us a window, right? Just a peephole, or not, just a keyhole now. The moment you say keyhole, chances are there what? You can see from inside out and also from outside in. Door means you can go from inside to outside and also move from outside to inside. There is the proof for us for the presence of those masters and their teaching. That is the authority of the Shastras. On that basis only we are able to study on. Otherwise, all this is going to be just a matter of, our intellectual gymnastics, he says. Vivekananda. Gymnastics, the fellows are wasting time. He says, no, it's not intellectual gymnasium. Gymnastics, man, this is a concerted effort. How does it become concerted effort? Some justification is there for us. This is the justification for us to be approaching those gurus, and their teachings is the Shastra. When you say we are approaching the Shastra, we are not talking about the book, we are talking about the person who has given this. That's why we worship Vyasa, that is why we worship Krishna. The key, you must have the key with you. And the interesting part is with key you can lock, you can unlock. You can enter, you can exit. Someone who is standing the other side can see this world, can communicate to you, very feeble voice, very little only. They can't give the whole thing. So they give little. Knowledge is given to us in a very little much. It's just a little we have given. The little like library like we have. Imagine what is that. So always you go to those Mahatmas. I don't know. I feel it like that. Every time you go to them, you come back. You always come back with the belief that you have got so much with you, and that man still carries. He's still having more to give. Still he has lot of money in the bank. He has given you. Whatever he has given you already is sufficient enough for you to survive another 10 janmas. That much wealth he has given you. Free. I went and said, he called and gave me a check. Take it. The bank chairman called me. After I deposited the check, the chairman called. So, sir, what credited to your account? Yes. Can I meet you? That much money is given. But after taking all that, what I feel? Checkbook kunjam persa. There's little more spaces where to be there. You could have added a few more zeros. He has so much. That much money he has. That's the wealth they carry. What? Why? It's because of the transaction that they are having is only through that keyhole. If we are able to see through that keyhole the other side, it is equally possible. They can also see through that same keyhole. What's a keyhole? The intellect. With the intellect, with the subtle intellect, we are able to oscillate and conceive and posit it. If this can reach to that, but it's not going to capture the whole thing. Remember, from the keyhole, how much you can see the world? Huh? Through the keyhole, how much you can see? The fact that there is a keyhole and the fact that you are able to see the world around outside is the proof of the existence of outside world, isn't it? And someone who has used that key properly and unlocked went the other side. Only problem is what? We can't carry everyone. It's like that hourglass. One grain at a time. That's all. Only one grain can go. That fellow went out. When he goes outside, locked. Now we are stuck inside now. Then he says, hey, there's a chance, man. Hey, this is here, this is there, this is there. And we ask him, where is it? Show me. Now he can't bring, elephant and show you. And if he has to show that elephant to you, he has to take that elephant far away from the keyhole, isn't it? When he takes the elephant far away from the keyhole, then you can't see the real size of that. You will think what? Elephant? You feel it looks so small? Bring it closer. When it comes closer, it covers the whole thing. He said, no, I want to see a dinosaur. You want to see a dinosaur, blue whale. How is he going to show blue whale? Now you are sitting inside. He says, I'll show you from a distance. You see. So blue whale is there. That is there. And then he shows pizza. And he is having the pizza also. Says, send me How much pizza he can send through a keyhole? But he is so charitable, he pushes it. Okay. By the time it reaches you, can you actually taste it? Blueberry cheesecake. Given to you through a keyhole. How can you enjoy it? But that itself will be so much relished by the person who is inside the prison. Isn't it? To him, it is a relish. He say, wow, you taste all. Let me search that key. Open and go out. That's why we find it so complex, so complicated from our side, but it is a matter of fact for that fellow. To a master, what is it? To Krishna, it is just a matter of fact. For us, it is not a matter of fact. For us, we have to twist and turn. You see, same fellow, he says, they are in me, I am also in them. Right. 2 chapters before, what did he say? They are not in me, I am not in them. 2 chapters back. The 7th chapter only he said. Said, they are not in me, I am also not in them. Now here he says, then I am also in them. Twisting the intellect. Why? He is trying to pass in that whole knowledge through that keyhole. The keyhole is trying to push the hole. But that's more than sufficient for us to see, because the fact that the possibility is there. That is why we keep on saying, strengthen the intellect, strengthen the intellect. Get it properly. Get that thing, man. Get this knowledge, get this knowledge. See. Same am I. None hateful or dear to me. But those who worship me with devotion, every word is important. But read sentence by sentence. Same, all beings. So first angle, same. He is seeing all of us equal. One. Second interpretation for that is, he is seeing all of us equal means his grace is equal to all of us. Right. Then there is none hateful or dear to me. Does it mean he is indifferent? He said, no, he is not indifferent. Why? Because his grace is falling on everyone equal. So therefore, it's not that. Even though his grace is falling on equal to everyone, but everyone doesn't have that access to it. Then who has access to it? Those who are putting in their effort. Putting in that effort is called as those who worship. Those who start seeking. When they start seeking, they get into one predicament. To solve that predicament, you need to surrender. That's the only way. There's no other way. Because logically, nothing can be done. You got to surrender. Right. Then what will happen? As you keep pursuing, then slowly and then you start qualifying yourself and then purifying yourself, and then you start doing the Savana, Manana, Nididhyasana, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, whatever you do. Right. Anything you do in the name of spiritual. All those efforts when you put in, what they understand, they come to an understanding that this limited self is nothing but a pure consciousness. The little self merges with the pure consciousness. They are in me. They identify and they become one with me. When they have become one with me, I am also in them. Confirm. acknowledged, correct. Reached. Like you send a letter, he sends back.